Karl Flecker, I'm with the Keys Job Center. I work with newcomers to Canada, and the primary part of my job is to help this community better understand our labor market, provide assistance to secure a job, ideally commensurate with their international training and experience. And let me tell you, that is not a daily perk in my job. Too often, what I'm doing is working with this crowd who've been subjected to wage theft or some other form of workplace abuse. But increasingly, the job in folks like me in the immigration and settlement sector includes addressing OH&S injuries or navigating the WSIB process. And here lies an area for innovative service development. Addressing OH&S issues for newcomers, quite frankly, has not been a priority in our agency's labor force integration work. And it's safe to say that that's the case across the board in Ontario. But it needs to be. And why? Today in Canada, we're more than 80% dependent on immigrants for net labor force growth. And in a very short time, as in months, we become 100% dependent on this cohort to fill jobs that are increasingly become vacant due to retirements or pending retirements. Government data shows that 70% of job openings are linked to pending or current retirements. Some of you in the room I noticed are smiling, which means it's just around the corner for you. We're one of 127 countries in the globe that can't replace our population naturally. Doesn't matter how much Viagra or Cialis is sold, okay? Now, with more than half the countries in the world in the same boat, that means that skilled professional immigrants are gonna opt for countries where work is safe, stable, and economic justice is a reality. Countries that allow injuries, abuse, or fail to innovate are going to lose out on needed talent. Immigrants are essential for the labor force and for population growth. They're also going to be doing the work to sustain an aging population. Now here's the rub for this group. Newcomers, like young workers, face higher rates of workplace injury. Research findings from the Institute for Work and Health point to three main reasons for this reality. They don't know their legal rights, they're working in jobs without relevant experience or hazard-specific training, and they're unlikely to raise health and safety concerns for fear of losing their job that keeps them afloat. When this group gets injured, the research stats paint a really grim picture. 90% of immigrant workplace injuries require medical attention. Compare that to 65% for other workers. We also know that about half of recent immigrants end up working in jobs for which they're overqualified. We open our doors to over 300,000 newcomers each year. 150,000 are landing in jobs where they shouldn't be. An aging population and a declining birth rate reality implies that our economic, labor, and population needs demand even higher immigration intake levels, but folks are not ending up in jobs what they're trained for, and by default, they're ending up being put in harm's way. So not only is our economy underutilizing their talent, it puts people at risk for physical injuries and deleterious mental well-being. So what are we gonna do? Here's the innovations. One of the things we're doing. With the help of the Law Foundation of Ontario, our agency is delivering a series of legal education workshops to frontline service providers and immigrant community leaders on topics such as the OH&S Act and WSIB. The objective is simple: build the capacity of those who work closely with newcomers and arm people with the essential information that can help people exercise their workplace safety rights. IWH has found that OH&S risks increase when workers, particularly newcomers, are less empowered. So building immigrant worker power reduces vulnerability. Our sessions have certified interpreters, and because it's the law we're talking about and government policy and regulations, we use popular education methodologies, case studies, and role-play activities to translate legalese into meaningful Arabic, Mandarin, French, Spanish, or English. The last one's also important. And we also offer prizes. That helps a lot with comprehension. Second thing we do is the starting point for newcomers are always eager to get into the workforce. So that means assisting them with job search techniques, the good resume, the interview, networking. But what we also do is we deliver workplace health and safety modules, like what are your rights and entitlements as workers? How and what should employers be held accountable for in terms of OH&S? And again, the Institute for Work and Health has developed some really great tools, like prevention is the best medicine. That's all you're gonna get, Daniel. So we're also working with our ESL team and with our job search workshops to incorporate language learning around OH&S or WSIB protocols. Merging language learning with understanding the Act, the regulations, the entitlements, and assisting folks with filling out claim forms builds newcomers' capacity and their power to be their own advocate. Now, more of this can be done if unions forge programmatic links with immigrant and settlement agencies to assist in the development of accessible, multilingual information about employment standards, occupational health and safety rights, and the workers' compensation process. And with such partnerships, in turn, unions are going to get an early start on organizing these workers. We also have a Disabilities Mentoring Day that increases awareness and enhances employment opportunities. Persons with disabilities that are job ready and are connected with companies that can utilize the skills these individuals have or are developing through training. The initiative provides exposure to a work environment, provides occupational networking opportunities, employers discover participants' talents and exchanges, and helps to break down myths. So I'll just finish with a few other innovations that are still needed. We need to rigorously target workplaces that have high concentrations of immigrants and other vulnerable workers. We need to enhance protection for injured workers who file claims, including multilingual access to legal information, and alternative income support once folks are injured. We need to offer professional level interpretation at the onset of the claim and periodically throughout the process. WSIB services need to be better advertised and promoted for newcomers to overcome barriers. That means data collection on the experiences of newcomers within the system. Currently, there's no way to identify claimants as immigrants. Then finally, the credential recognition process, particularly for skilled workers, needs to become more efficient so that immigrant workers land in the right job that meets their skills. That's going to reduce the likelihood of workplace injuries. Without innovative measures to better protect our workforce, with particular attention to vulnerable workers, we're putting people in harm's way, and we're ignoring opportunities to organize and support a growing demographic of the workplace. Vicha.